Okay, so hello, I am Amit Yadav, and I am a plus educator at Unacademy. And today we are starting with our topic, that is emergency provisions in India, right? So we'll try to understand the topic and understand the concepts which are implicit in that particular topic for the purpose of your prelims as well as mains examination. But before we start, let's have a look at some programs and these uh, courses which are being started at Unacademy, right? So the first course which is starting is this Unacademy Aspire. It is an all India free mock test for civil services aspirants, right? Now, what is happening in this particular course? On the firstly, it is free for all of you on 1st, 10th, 25th, and 30th of every month. There are tests based upon current affairs, and for top 50 rankers there would be exciting prizes, so you can win these exciting prizes. I would not name these prizes, but they are actually exciting, right? And along with that, scholarships are also being offered by the Unacademy, right? After that, three batches are starting on 23rd of November 2020. Means yesterday they have started, and these three batch, one batch is in English medium. It would be purely in English medium. One batch would be in purely Hindi medium, and one batch would be bilingual. Uh, I would suggest you personally that if you're English medium student, then go for purely English medium batch or Hindi medium, and as a last resort, keep that bilingual batch. Because in your mains exam, you have to be good in that by any particular language which you are adopting, right? Now, uh, one minute. So these three batches are starting, right? Similarly, yesterday only three more batches have started. They are of 1 year and they are for UPSC 2020. Similarly, one batch is in English medium, one batch is in Hindi medium, and one is bilingual batch. Your means this is a 1 year batch. Your full syllabus coverage would be there. The classes would be taken by top educators. Prelims and mains test series with analysis. Likewise, what's your rank? How much you have scored? In which topics you are weak? In which you topics you are performing well? So that you can I mean, in the last hours of your exam, you can go through those topics in which you are not able to perform well in the test series. After that, your PDF study material would be there, dedicated doubt clearing sessions and interview preparation. All these things means an organized package for 6 month batch, that is for next year UPSC prelims, and for 2020 next to next year, it is offered by Unacademy. It would be a personal suggestion. See, offline things are already means shutdown is there, and I'm not expecting that in near future it is going to be open, at least for within few months. So this is a good option, and as a teacher I can tell you that it is a good option, you can go for it. Okay. Then many of the students they are having that doubt or they are of that perception that if they are enrolling in one course, that means they would be available, they would be able to attend the classes only for that particular course, right? But actually it is not like so. Once you have taken a subscription, suppose you have taken plus subscription for 1 year, then for 1 year whole of that platform is open for you. You can enroll in any of the batches or any of those batches which are being run on that platform. You can go through any of the recorded plus class, you can attend all the special class, you can give all the quiz, all the free test series, and all that stuff which is available there on that plus platform. It is for you. Just a moment. It is available for you for for that particular time in which you are having that yes, sir, subscription. Right now, you would be having an opportunity to learn live from the comfort of your home. Corona times are there, and you need not to go anywhere to any particular place, especially for your coaching and all that. Unlimited access to all the courses, as I have told you. Top educators of India on one platform. I can name some of them. Mr. Siddharth Arora sir is there, Sudarshan Gurjar sir is there, Mrinal sir is there, and I am there. Many educators are there. Means in all, I think around 75 or 100 top educators are there who are teaching on an academy. All of them, they do not necessarily belong to Delhi. Some of them belong to Delhi, and some of them belong to other parts. Like some are from Bangalore, some are from Indore, some are from Bihar, Gujarat. Means from whole of the India, you are having such educators. Then exhaustive coverage of syllabus would be there. Regular doubts clearing session every third or fourth class in your plus course is a dedicated doubt clearing class, because I'm taking plus course, that's why I can tell you that thing. Live test series would be there. I think on every Sunday or every seventh, eighth class. Likewise, in my batch, there is on every Sunday we are having a live test series where questions are being uploaded and you are giving those tests in the real time. No. Then study material in PDF format is there. Answer writing sessions are there. And if you are going for iconic subscription, then you would be allotted a personal mentor who would guide you throughout your journey of the preparation. Likewise, helping you in making your timetable, helping you in clearing your doubts, which option to choose. All these things, they would be helped by that mentor. Now, these are the various benefits which I have already told you. All these benefits are there. Then this is your plus subscription. It is available for a period of 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. Means suppose if you are already a pass out, you need to give exam next year. Then also I would tell you that go for at least 12 months, because the means duration of the examination up till mains interview, it takes time. So it should not be like that you have given your prelims and now you are nowhere, you're not without subscription, you cannot attend the classes. So you can at least go with 12 months. And if you are in final year, or you're trying to, you are aiming to attempt at 2020, then best option can be 24 months. But still, if you are undergraduate in second year or first year, BA, BCom, whatsoever degree you are having, then you should go for 36 months. Now, in the fee, already discount is there, but if you are using code of Unacademy, that is UPSC CSE, or for that matter, if you are using my code, that is Amit Yadav Foundation, right? Then you would be having an extra instant 10% discount on this fee. No, an extra 10% discount would be given to you, and after discount, your actual fee which you would be paying would become this. Along with that, just a moment, the fee would become this, and along with that, if you are having going through classes, you are having some credit points, then some more discount would be available to you. Now see, for 6 months it is 36 450 after discount. For 12 months it would be 44 450. For 24 months it is 64,800 rupees. Okay? Now suppose if you are going with this subscription, right? If you are going for 24 month or 2 year subscription, then it is 64,800 rupees. ठीक? Now do one thing, divided by 24, you know, or and try to get the cost which you are paying to an academy for 1 day. In 1 day, you are having unlimited classes from 7 in the morning to 12 in the night. Moreover, on YouTube channels, so educators are taking much more classes than that. Along with that, along with that, several of the test series are there, right? Several of the test series are there. Uh, n number of courses are there. Educators are running their individual courses also. Everything would be available to you, and I think that would come out around 100 or 120 or 130 rupees per day. You know, I had been in Delhi, and I can tell you in Delhi that is the cost for getting you hydrated only. In that cost, you would be getting it in your classroom, everything, right? So then we are having T20 Daily Current Affairs Test Series. It's free for all of you. It's a daily at 7:30 p.m. You just need to download the Learner app, register yourself, and you would be available to attend these classes. And it's a very good thing. You can use it likewise. Go through the this current affairs, and once you have gone through current affairs, just try to solve this question which have been asked to you in this daily current affairs. So it is sort of revision as well as to build your confidence regarding your preparation, particularly in current affairs. So it is daily on the application at 7:30 p.m. 20 questions, 20 minutes of 40 marks, followed by test analysis by top educators, right? Then you can connect with Unacademy through any of these mediums. You can join the YouTube channel Unacademy Articulate, or if you're from Hindi medium, you can join this channel, YouTube channel Unacademy Lakshya. You can join Facebook page UPSC Preparation by Unacademy, and as you are here in Unacademy Expedition, you can join Unacademy UPSC Current Affairs. This would be exceptionally beneficial for you, not only for UPSC but for any of the given competitive examination in which general studies and current affairs are being asked. Then you can follow Unacademy, you can join Unacademy on Telegram channel, Unacademy Articulate and Unacademy Course ID. So these are various n number of options are there. See, I personally believe that from their side, Unacademy is doing each and everything to help you out to clear your exam. Now it depends upon you. If there is a limitation that you are simply imposing upon yourself, because many of the free courses are there, free current affairs test series is there. So they're trying their best so that you can get best of these services. Anyway, anyway, so now let's start with our class, and our today's topic is emergency provisions in India. Okay. Chलिए. Today we have to start with this topic. Okay. Now, see. Now what can be an emergency? Just hold on. Okay. I think just hold on for a moment. Okay. Now, what can be this emergency? Uh, just hold on. I think this is not working correctly. Okay. Only this is working. No need to get anything extra. Now see, uh, emergency. This word emergency can be a situation where the normal functioning is very much hampered. Okay, likewise in our body there is medical emergency. Means if something is not done at that given moment or at that given time, then things would get so much out of control that it would be very very difficult to recover the natural circumstances. Means there is a grave danger or there is a grave threat. There is an immediate threat to the existence of that organism. That organism might be a living body like me, you, or that organism might be your country. So if there any war, if there is any external aggression, if there is a people are revolting against the government or something like that, then uh, then the constitution is providing with some of the provision so which can empower the central government, because defense is their subject, so which can empower the central government to deal with such a situation. So these emergency provisions which we have to go through today. Yeah, today we will be going through them. Just give me a moment because this marker is not functioning here. I think it's not working anyway. Anyway, let's move by this only. Chaliye. So what they're saying, federal constitutions are weak in the sense that there are limitations upon the powers of central or union government. See, what is a federal government? A federal government is one in which the powers of the government they are divided between the center and the states, right? Now center can make law, or it can run the government only on those subjects which are assigned to the center, and rest of the subjects they are given to the state. And in a true federation like America, where the states have formed a center by making an agreement, in such a case, the residuary means those powers which are not assigned either to the center or to the states, they are reserved by the states only. So, in this particular situation, suppose if there is a war or if there is an emergency situation, that means that the central government is quite weak, it is quite helpless to work in such a situation. But if such a situation arises, then what happens? Then they have to go to courts, and courts can interpret the constitution, and they can empower the central government to deal with such a situation. However, if you see in in case of India, the framers of the constitution, they have actually empowered the central government by giving these emergency provisions. What central government have to do? The moment your president proclaims emergency, that very moment your federal structure automatically got converted into a unitary one. Means now the central government is having power. Another limitation upon the central government is the rights of the people. So in this emergency provision, it is again empowering the president to suspend the rights of the people. Means now neither the rights of the people nor the rights of the state are going to weaken the central government. The central government is totally empowered, it is totally strong, it is totally authorized to make laws and to work so that it can deal with that emergent situation. Okay, चलिए. So thus, in the times of emergency, they are means this federal constitution, they are ill equipped to deal with such situations. Then to get converted into unitary structures means all the power with the central government, they have to depend upon judicial interpretations. However, the Constitution of India provides provisions whereby the federal structure can be converted into unitary one, allowing the union government to deal with emergent situation. So that is the beauty of Indian Constitution, that it is itself providing that those provisions. Just by using this provision, your federal structure converts into a unitary one, and all the powers are there with the central government so that they can deal with that emergent situation, or they can deal with that emergency situation. Okay? चलिए. Moving ahead, as I have told you, part 18 of the constitution contains emergency provisions under articles 352 to article number 360, right? The constitution, ठीक है. It is not mentioned here in the PPT, that's why I am telling you. The inspiration of having such a provision in the Indian constitution, that has been taken from the government of India Act 1935. So remember this thing very very clearly, because majority of you are making that mistake. Get it? Means if anyone asks from where we have taken emergency provision, 99% of the students in my 20 years teaching career, I have seen that means some things are there which comes with experience. And as a teacher with experience, we used to know that where a student is actually going to commit mistake. 99% of the students, you question them, they simply answer that sir, it is being taken from that Weimar Constitution of Germany. अरे भाई, suspension of fundamental rights during emergency has been taken from Weimar Constitution, not the emergency provisions. The emergency provisions has been taken from Government of India Act 1935. So remember that thing. You can note that thing in so by a marker or by a highlighter somewhere, so that you can remember it. Okay? Otherwise, what will happen in exam? Question is coming and you are laughing. "Huh, such an easy question." And what you are doing? You are taking that Weimar Constitution. ठीक है ना? So emergency provisions, they have been taken from Government of India Act 1935, while suspension of fundamental rights during emergency, that has been taken actually from Weimar Constitution of Germany. ठीक है? चलिए. Now the Constitution of India distinguish between three forms of emergency. ठीक है? Now one thing is there, मतलब this is quite conceptual. Suppose if a fourth type of emergency is there, if government wants to use a fourth type of emergency, was under this provision only three types are mentioned: national emergency, state emergency, which you commonly call, or financial emergency. But if government wants to use four type of emergency, then for any such thing, always do remember they have to go for a constitution amendment. Clear है? If there is something which is not mentioned in the constitution and government wants power to do that thing, then they must go through the amendment of the constitution, but that amendment should not violate basic structure. Anyway, so first type of emergency, which Constitution talks about under Article 350, that is your national emergency. Do remember, the word national emergency is nowhere used in the Constitution. It simply used proclamation of emergency by the President under Article 352. Clear है? Because nowadays such type of questions are coming. For that purpose, you can download Bare Act from any government site and please go through that Bare Act of the Constitution. So nowadays questions are coming directly from the articles only. So this word is nowhere mentioned, but generally we used to call it national emergency because it can be imposed throughout India. Then president's rule in the states under Article 356, which in common parlance is called state emergency. And lastly, we are having financial emergency under Article 360. So let's see them one by one. First is your national emergency. Now, what is happening? Article 352 provides that the President of India can proclaim national emergency if he is satisfied that there is a grave danger to the security of India by reason of war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. Clear? है? Now, few things are here. First, under which article President can declare proclaim national emergency? Article 352. Who can proclaim? President of India. On what basis? When there is a grave threat to the security or grave danger to the security of India. Now, how India's security can be endangered? That is because of three reasons. Any fourth reason is giving. War means actually you are having war or there is an imminent danger means war is about to start. The president is satisfied that the war is about to start, or external aggression like Pakistan सीमा पर फौज का जमावड़ा बढ़ा रहा है, or that we have seen tension in eastern part with China, that is external aggression or armed rebellion. है ना? Now it is not necessary when any of these is going, then president have to impose emergency. It is a wish of the president. If the president wishes, he can impose like during Kargil war. During Kargil war, government do not impose national emergency because they were able to deal with that situation. So it is the discretion of the president. If it is on the grounds of war or external aggression, now these two factors are coming from some external source outside India, then it is called external emergency. And if it is on the grounds of armed rebellion, means people are revolting against the citizen and taking having arms with them. So armed rebellion, then it is called internal emergency because it is coming from within your country by your citizens only. Okay? Now, originally means as the constitution was enacted in year 1949, the ground was internal disturbance. Now this word armed rebellion was not there. The word internal disturbance was there, but by and Indira Gandhi have actually used this only. But by 44th Amendment of 1978, it was changed to armed rebellion. Now see, the word internal disturbance, it is a very vague and very subjective type of word. Means like your Anna Andolan that was in Delhi in 2013-14. Now that can be means labeled as internal disturbance, or your Naxal movement going on in Chhattisgarh, that can be labeled as means inter. So this internal disturbance can be misused, which was actually done. That's why, as a safeguard, by 44th Amendment 1978 by the Morarji Desai government, it was changed to armed rebellion. Right? Then Indira Gandhi used internal disturbance as the ground to impose emergency in 1975. So remember this thing, it has been asked a number of times that on which ground Indira Gandhi imposed emergency. So that was your internal disturbance. Okay? Then what they are saying, the president can declare emergency even before the actual occurrence. It was added by 44th Amendment that even the war has not started, but the president is satisfied. He is having that information, that means information of IEB or RAW or whatsoever, that war or external aggression is about to start. Imminent means there is an immediate danger. Then also he can declare emergency. Then by 44th Amendment of 1978, it was provided that President can declare emergency either in a part of India or in the whole of the territory of India. Because earlier it can be imposed only in whole of the territory of India. But then it was provided that the President can impose it either in a part where the actual war or the problem is there, localized way, or he can expand it to whole of the India. Okay. This 44th Amendment, it also added that President can declare emergency only on the written advice of the Union Cabinet. Now see, This question again has been asked that where the word union cabinet is used in constitution. So the word union cabinet is used only at one place, and that too it was added by 44th Amendment Act. The original constitution do not contain anything like any word like union cabinet. Okay? So earlier what was possible, Prime Minister can give a call, or as Indira Gandhi, she can advise the president to impose emergency and not even consulting her rest of the ministers. So, as a safeguard, by 44th Amendment, it was made mandatory that the president can declare emergency only on the written advice of all the cabinet ministers. That means what? That means that all the cabinet ministers must sign on that letter, which is advising the president to impose emergency. Then, 44th Amendment also made the provision that the president can proclaim multiple proclamations on different grounds. Now, suppose external aggression is there, president declares emergency, and after few days, actual war begins. Then he can proclaim another emergency for same area or different area. Means at any given point, more than one proclamation can remain in force. ठीक है? चलिए. The 38th Amendment of the Constitution had placed judicial review of the President's proclamation, sorry, had placed President's proclamation out of judicial review. Means the satisfaction of the President cannot be challenged in any court of law. But again, as a safeguard by 44th Amendment, it was deleted, and now the Supreme Court can question the satisfaction of the President. That means, what were the circumstances? What you have seen that you were satisfied that there is a grave danger to the security of India, so they can question it. Actually, they cannot question; they can question this Union Cabinet. That thing. Also, in the case of Minerva Mills of 1980, the Supreme Court had observed that the president's satisfaction cannot be mala fide or on erroneous grounds. Right? There must be some factual things. There must be some strong reasons, because it is a very, very means, that uh, unnormal or very, very unnatural type of situation where a federal structure is converted into a unitary one. Okay? Rights of the people are being affected. So it must be on some very, very technical and very, very specific grounds. So that Supreme Court can question. Once proclaimed, the declaration, ठीक है, अच्छी बात है. The cabinet have written reasonable grounds are there, information is there, or actual war is there, and president have declared emergency throughout the territory of India. Now what happened? Now, within 1 month of that declaration, the president have to get it approved by both the houses of parliament. है ना? He have to get it approved. He have to get it approved by both the houses of parliament. Within 1 month, you have to get it approved by both the houses of parliament by a resolution passed by both the houses by a vote of special majority. Okay? Now do remember, earlier this 1 month was 2 months, but again as a safeguard it was reduced. Earlier the majority was a simple majority, but then by 44th Amendment, what was done? It was made special majority, right? Then the proclamation has to be approved by a resolution of both the houses of parliament by a vote of special majority that I have told you. Now, once approved, earlier it was the provision that once the parliament have approved it, the proclamation of emergency or simply the emergency can continue for indefinite period. It can continue for that period until the president wishes. But again, as a safeguard by 44th Amendment, what we have provided that you can continue it indefinitely, but only after getting uh, 6 monthly approval by the parliament. Means for every 6 months, the president have to, or the union cabinet, they have to go to parliament to get their approval. So now it would be like 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, moving on indefinitely. Because nobody knows that in what time the war would end or the problem would be solved. So first you get approval for 6 months, then again you get approval for 6 months, then again you get approval for 6 months. So now in this way you can continue it indefinitely. Okay? चलिए. Then earlier the provision was this I have told you. Now suppose if during the initial 1 month when the emergency has been imposed, the Lok Sabha has dissolved, or at the time when the emergency was imposed, at that time Lok Sabha has been dissolved and the elections to new Lok Sabha were not there. Then if Lok Sabha is not there, then what to do? Now in such a case, either if you are going for initial approval or for the approval of continuation of emergency after 6 months, whatever be the case, in such a case What government have to do? They have to get that resolution approved by Lok Sabha, sorry, Raj Sabha by a vote of a special majority. And whenever new Lok Sabha would come, whenever election would be there or new Lok Sabha would come, then they have to get it approved by that new Lok Sabha within 30 days of its first sitting. Just remember this thing. It's for the approval of proclamation as well as the approval of continuance every 6 months. The rule would be same. ठीक है चलिए now ठीक है now suppose on 1st of January the parliament approves the continuation of emergency for a further period of 6 months ठीक है yeah, remember the date this actually pen is not working that's why on 1st of January 2020 suppose emergency is there and the parliament uh, approves that emergency for further 6 months now 5 days later that is on 5th of January the war ends 5 days, 5th of January, the warrants, but the parliament have already approved it as a continuation for 6 months. Now, what to do in such a case? It can be misused. Now, in such a case, the 44th Amendment have provided that Lok Sabha can pass a resolution for the revocation or for the end of the emergency. Now, for this purpose, if a petition or a notice signed by 1/10 of the total members of the Lok Sabha is presented to the Speaker if the House is in session or to the President if it is not in session with the purpose written that we want a special sitting because we want to revoke emergency. In such a case, the speaker or the president, whatever be the case, within 14 days, what they will do, they will arrange for a special sitting of Lok Sabha. And if in that special sitting, by a vote of simple majority, the Lok Sabha passes a resolution that we do not want the continuation of emergency, then emergency would automatically ठीक है तो देखने वाली बात है डू रिमेंबर for approval Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha both are required special majority is required but for revocation or simply in common word you can say disapproval only it is the power of Lok Sabha and that too by a vote of simple majority not special majority right चलिए now, what can be the effects of proclamation of emergency? So, there can be a number of effects. Firstly, there is an effect on center-state relation because I have told you in the beginning only that the purpose of having this emergency provision is to allow the government to convert the federal structure into unitary one so that the central government can have all the power and they can deal with that emergency situation. Okay, so the first effect would be on center-state relation. Second effect would be on the duration of the House this term of Lok Sabha. Because suppose the 5 years of Lok Sabha are about to end, and during emergency it is not possible to hold election. Then we need a Lok Sabha because the government need to get the proclamation approved every 6 months. Then in such a case, Parliament by making a simple law by a simple majority can extend the term of Lok Sabha for 1 year at a time. Again, it can be done indefinitely during emergency. Thirdly, is the effect of proclamation of an emergency upon the rights of the people. Right? That how the rights of the people are affected. Chali. So let's see them one by one. First is during the proclamation, the center-state relations changes undergoes a fundamental change. The federal structure virtually becomes a unitary one. That means states are existing or not, it hardly matters then. All the powers comes with the central government. Firstly, changes on the legislative side. Now, in normal circumstances or in normal conditions, what happened? The state government is making law on, or the state legislature, to be precise, is making law on a stateless subject, and the union legislature, that is your parliament, they are making law on unionist subject. But during this emergency, the parliament can make law on any of the stateless subject also any of the stateless subject also like policing is a stateless subject but parliament can make law on police also okay and that however states can also make that law but if there is a conflict between the two then the law made by parliament would be ruling or would be having overriding powers over the law made by the state legislature now up till when this law will end this law made by Parliament over a stateless subject, it will continue to be enforced only for 6 months after the revocation or end of emergency. After that, it would automatically end. The law made by the state would continue in force. Secondly, it also includes the power to issue ordinances. So it is a common sense thing. Wherever Parliament can make a law, except amendment law, wherever Parliament can make a law, the President can also issue ordinances. ठीक है? However, by 42nd Amendment, one important thing was provided that suppose emergency is imposed in Punjab because the war is going on with Pakistan and Punjab border, and emergency is imposed in Punjab. But central government feels that we need to make some law for areas covered in Bihar and other parts also because they are also associated with the security of the country. So Parliament can make law on stateless subject for those states only. ठीक है? So it is not like that Parliament can make law on state list subject for states only for those states where emergency is imposed. It can make for all of the India. ठीक है? चलिए. Then secondly, changes in the executive relation. Now, once emergency is imposed, the center can give direction to any state government regarding anything. It can give direction means how you can use your executive power, how you should use your administrative power, how administration should be undertaken. Any type of executive direction can be given by the center to the states. Means your state government, your state executive is completely under the union executive. So again, the federal structure converts into a unitary one. Then thirdly, changes in the financial relation. Now, generally, what happened that your finance commission it used to give its plan of distribution of revenue between center and states, depending upon the acceptance of president. According to that plan, the revenue is being distributed. But during emergency, the center needs more money. Means president can make an order, and by that order, president can modify or restructure the distribution of resources. Generally, it happens that the resources belonging to center are moved on to the resource belonging to states are moved on to the center. Okay? Now, when it will continue, it can continue. Means the president can take it back anytime, but maximum it can continue up till the end of that financial year in which emergency is ended or emergency is revoked or emergency is lifted. Okay? Such an order it need not to be approved. It only have to be placed before both the houses so that the members can know that what redistribution or what new distribution president had made as soon as possible. No time limit is given for that. Then, effect of emergency on the life of Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly. So please do remember this thing because this particular effect is not given in part 18, that is emergency provision. है ना? So remember this thing. It is not given in emergency provision. It is given for Lok Sabha, it is given in Article 83, and for your state legislative assembly, it is given in Article 172. Right? So accordingly, as I have already told you, Lok Sabha by a vote of simple majority, they can pass a bill, and by that law, by that bill, they can increase the term of Lok Sabha for 1 year, and similarly for 1 year, they can increase it indefinitely during the emergency is imposed. Same is true for state legislative assembly. है ना? Its life can also be increased for one year at a time, but not extending for more than 6 months after the end of emergency. So if once the emergency have lifted, it has been revoked, it has been ended, then that extended term can be there only for 6 months. Now, let's take an example. Again, suppose on 1st of January 2020, the Parliament increased the term of Lok Sabha by 1 year, means now up till 31st of December 2020. On 2nd of January, what happens? Your emergency ends. Your emergency is revoked, but you have already increased this for 1 year. Now, it will be continuing only up till 2nd of June. Only up till 2nd of June. In that time particular, between 2nd of January and 2nd of June, the election commission have to hold elections and elections for new Lok Sabha. ठीक है? चलिए. Thus, the term of 5th Lok Sabha during national emergency was increased for two one-year terms in 1976 and 1977. But in September 1977 only, emergency was March 1977 only, emergency was ended, and thus the new elections were held in 1977. Then the effects of national emergency on the fundamental rights of the people. Now, this is something means, of much concern. The rights were largely violated by of the people during emergency. According to Article 358, now see here two provisions are there. One given in Article 358, another given in 359. According to 358, as soon as there is proclamation of national emergency on grounds of external, means war or external aggression, then automatically Article 19 is suspended. Now, suspension means that Parliament can make law which are violating your Article 19, but you cannot challenge those laws because Article 19 is suspended. ठीक है, so याद रखना. Firstly, under Article 358, secondly, only for external emergency, and thirdly, Article 19 is automatically what? Suspended. Regarding rest of the fundamental rights during external emergency, now they can be suspended. They can be suspended, but only by an order made by the president. So for their suspension, an order is required, and in that too, by 44th Amendment it was provided, in that too, Article 20 and 21 cannot be suspended in any case. Clear है? So firstly, Article 19 is automatically suspended when national emergency is imposed, but on external ground. Now, what if national emergency is imposed on internal grounds because of armed rebellion? Then none of the article is automatically suspended. President have to make an order, and by that order, he can suspend any of the fundamental rights except 20 and 20. ठीक है? चलिए. So these things that I have told you. ठीक है? चलिए. So remember this thing very clearly. First of all, Article 358 deals only with external emergency. 359 deals with internal as well as external emergency. Under 358, Article 19 is automatically suspended. Under 359, President can make an order, and by that order, he can suspend any of that or the fundamental rights, but Article 20 and Article 21. Okay? 20 gives you protection against that ex post facto law and double jeopardy and all that, while Article 21 provides you gives you protection against an unreasonable procedure which can be made to punish you right life and personal liberty. That so this all thing they I have told you. Okay. Then use of national emergency up till now, how many times it has been used? It is again asked in prelims. For the first time, it was proclaimed because of Chinese aggression on 26th of October 1962. So remember this date, which remained in force till 10th of January 1968. On 10th January, it was revoked by a new proclamation made by President. Then again, on December 3rd, 1971, during that Bangladesh Liberation War, December 3rd, 1971, another proclamation was made again for external aggression from the side of Pakistan on our western border. While this was continuing, third proclamation on grounds of internal disturbance, which was the most controversial one, was made on 25th of June 1975. Now, so in this time, two proclamations are continuing, first this one and then this one. However, both of them were revoked. This Pakistan one that was revoked on 27th March 1977, while this internal disturbance one, it was revoked on 21st of March 1977. And after that, elections were held. In that election, the Janata Party government came to power with Morarji Desai as the prime minister. Right? So in the elections to Lok Sabha after emergency in 1977, what happened? Janata Party came to power. Now this Janata Party, what it used to do, it used to appoint a commission called Shah Commission to inquire into were there any actual or real or reasonable circumstances which lead to the emergency, or it was simply to save the position of the prime minister. And that's a different story because we are having lesser time. That's why I'm not dealing with that. So these things were there. Now the very important commission. It is many times asked in prelims. The commission found no reasonable grounds for the proclamation of 1975. So that was reported by the commission that there was none of the reasonable ground on which emergency can be proclaimed or president can be satisfied. Thus, the 44th Amendment was introduced, and many safeguards like reducing the time for approval for 2 months to 1 month, making approval mandatory after every 6 months. Okay. Then changing that simple majority to special majority, non-suspension of Article 20 and 21, proclamation on the written advice of, so means n number of safeguards were introduced so that this provision, particularly of 352, they cannot be misused by upcoming governments. So this was all about our national emergency, where I think we have done justice with the topic and we have seen in quite detail. Chali. Next type of emergency, which is mentioned and deal with the this constitution, is your president's rule in the state, which is popularly called state emergency. Okay? Again, remember there is this word is nowhere used in the constitution. It's a president's rule in the state. Now see, before we proceed with article 356, which provides for president's rule, let's go through two more articles. Firstly, article 355 imposes two duties upon the union government. Firstly, to defend the states against external aggression and internal disturbance. So for this purpose, center is having defense forces. For this purpose, they are having CRPF and other paramilitary forces. Second, to ensure that the government of the state is carried on in accordance with the constitution. Now see what happened under Article 3. The parliament is making a law, and by that law, they are creating a state. They are not only creating the state; they are creating the whole government structure. Their legislature, their executive, their judiciary, everything is being created. Then the Election Commission of India, which belongs to center, it is holding election and legislature is completed. Now the governor, who is an agent of the center appointed by the president, he is appointing CM and the minister. So whole of the government structure has been created, and now the state government have to run that government in accordance with the provisions of the constitution. Okay? Means it is a responsibility given to you by the center, and center has appointed his agent in the form of governor to see that you are carrying on that government in accordance with constitution or not. But if the governor reports, or otherwise if the president is satisfied by media news and all that, that if the president is satisfied that the state government is not working according to constitution, then he will simply remove the executive. Remember my word, not necessarily he will remove legislature. He will simply remove that executive and took the charge in his own hands. He started ruling that state through his agent, that is governor, who, with the help of that chief secretary, starts ruling the state. ठीक है? चलिए. So Article 365, it provides that if a state fails to carry out direction, what this article is saying, that state will give direction to the center will give direction to the state, and if a state government fails to carry out or implement the direction given by the center, then it will be understood, or it will be assumed that this government is not working according to constitution. What will happen? Throughout that government, president would himself rule the state. Correct. Now, Article 356 provides, as I have told you, that if the President, on the report of Governor or otherwise, and otherwise means by going through media news or whatsoever, is satisfied that a situation has arisen where the government of a state is not carried on in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, then he can issue a proclamation of imposing President's rule in the state. Okay? Such a proclamation will cease to have effect after a period of 2 months. Means it will continue for 2 months, but if within those 2 months things are like that national emergency only, except the period that it was 1 month, which was reduced, now it is 2 months. Now, if it is not approved by a by a special majority of a resolution of both the houses of parliament, sorry, by a vote of simple majority by both the houses of parliament, then it would be end, and it would cease to have effect. Now, once approved, it can continue for a period of 6 months, and then it can again extend for 6 months. Now, see, again, that same thing is there, that if that at the time of president's rule or during those 2 months of initial approval, if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, then get it approved by Raj Sabha and by the new Lok Sabha within 30 days of its first sitting. So that is a old thing only. Important thing is that suppose for 1st of January, president imposes president's rule in Maharashtra. Okay? For that matter, for an example, in Maharashtra, after 6 months, within 2 months they get it approved. After 6 months, again they get it approved. Now it is for 1 year. Means now if after 1 year you want to continue it, then two conditions must be satisfied. Firstly, there is national emergency imposed in whole of India or in any part of that state where the president's rule has been imposed. And secondly, The Election Commission of India have certified that because of this emergency, elections to state legislative assembly cannot be held. So if these two conditions are satisfied, then it can be extended for a third term of 6 months. Okay? Again, after 6 months, that is total 1.5 year, what will happen? Again, if you want to get it continued for more approved by the parliament, then again these two conditions must be satisfied. Means if these two conditions are getting satisfied, then you can extend it, but in no case beyond 3 years. Getting my point? And your time for 6 months start with the date of proclamation. That means for first 6 month, no problem. Second 6 month, no problem. Third 6 month, two conditions must be satisfied. Fourth 6 month, two conditions must be satisfied. Fifth 6 month, two conditions must be satisfied. Sixth 6 month, two conditions must be satisfied. And there can be never seventh 6 month. You cannot extend it beyond 3 years. Now, if emergency is continuing, if war is going on beyond 3 years also, then what will happen? In such a case, the parliament will have to go for constitution amendment. Suppose the condition in Maharashtra is such that election हो ही नहीं पा रहे, emergency लगी हुई है, 3 साल हो गए emergency लगी हुई है, election हो ही नहीं पा रहे. Now what to do? How to form a government? Go for constitution amendment and write there that in case of Maharashtra, this period would be increased for 3 to 4 years or whatsoever with time. Then it would give authority to the president to continue his rule beyond. I think my point is clear. Initially, it is 1 year. If two conditions are satisfied, then it can be for 3 years, but not more than that in any condition except the amendment of the constitution. Now, what are the effects of president's rule? Now, the effects of president's rule are only and only upon the this center-state relation. है ना? No effect is on the rights of the people. Firstly, when the president's rule is imposed, the state council of ministers is dismissed. That is the purpose of president's rule. So, means the existing state council of minister has to be dismissed because two rulers cannot be there. Then the administration of the state, it belongs to president who exercises it with the help of his governor, and governor again exercises that function with the help of his chief secretary of that is the topmost IAS officer of the state. Then the state legislative assembly. What about the assembly? It is either suspended. Suspended means house is there, but session would not be there because you simply cannot start the session of the house without executive. And the executive has been dismissed, so it is suspended, or in other case it can be dissolved. Yeah, suppose elections to Vidhan Sabha or state legislative assembly are there and no party is getting clear cut majority. The governor have tried, but no one is having enough numbers to form the government. Then in such a case, president's rule is imposed, the house is dissolved, and the election commission is asked to conduct new elections for the house. Now, who will make laws for that particular state? Because assembly is either dissolved or it is suspended, then parliament would make laws for that state. Or parliament can delegate that power of lawmaking to the president, means that president can issue ordinances for that state. Then who will pass the budget of that state? The parliament would pass the budget. State government is not there. Who will make expenditure from that consulate fund? Because भी पैसा तो लगेगा ना, administration have to go on. The president would approve the expenditure from the consulate fund of that state. ठीक है? चलिए. So election means how it has been used in India. So initially in the Constituent Assembly, Dr. Ambedkar have called Article 356 as dead letter of the Constitution. By this word dead letter, he means that the governments are hardly going to use it. There would be a necessity to use this provision. Otherwise, it would be like that only, it would never be used. But it has been proved to be one of the most controversial provisions in the Constitution. One of the most misused provision of the Constitution. That's why one of the members of Constituent Assembly, Mr. H.V. Kamath, what he have said, Dr. Ambedkar is dead. It is yes. Dr. Ambedkar is dead and the articles are very much alive. Means the articles are being used by the governments and now Ambedkar Sahab is dead, not to see that situation. Then the present rule was imposed for the first time in Punjab in 1951. But as of today, you see, except Chhattisgarh and Telangana because they are new states, it has been imposed in all the states of India with a maximum of 11 times imposition in Manipur. In UP, it is for 10 times. So in all the states, it's have used except Chhattisgarh and Telangana. In post-emergency, means I told you, 1977 when election to Lok Sabha were held, then Janata Party government was there. Murarji Desai came to power, and he imposed president rule in all the nine Congress ruled states at that time. Why? Because he said that, see, people do not vote for Congress in Lok Sabha election. That means that now these Congress is not enjoying majority by means the support of the people. That means the state governments have to vote. So all were removed. Similarly, when in 1980 next year again election were there after 2 years, again Indira Gandhi came to power, and she removed all the this Janata Party governments which were there in power in these states. Similarly, in post Babri Masjid, in that 1991-92, when post Babri Masjid demolition, the president's rule was imposed in the BJP ruled states of MP, Himachal Pradesh, and Rajasthan, on the premise that they failed to ban certain religious, particularly Hindu religious organizations, which the center have asked them to block, but they have not so. This imposition was challenged in the case of S.R. Bombay versus Union of India, a very famous case. And the Supreme Court, what Supreme Court said? Supreme Court defied that imposition of president's rule. Why? Because the court said that secularism is a part of basic structure of the constitution, and these three states failed to defend secularism. That's why they have not worked according to constitution, and that's why their removal is justified. ठीक है? However, the court also laid down guidelines for proper and improper use of 356. है ना? Always remember, the court have gone into detail to define the word this secularism in that case of S.R. Mumbai. That's why it is a very famous case. Firstly, president's subjection is subjected to judicial review. The court can question that what were the facts, what was the situation, why you have imposed president's rule, why you have removed an elected government from the state. The burden of proof lies to the center. The state need not to prove that the state was wrong. The center has to prove that the state was wrong. If proved unconstitutional, the state government is to be reinstituted. Means if it is proved that means the satisfaction of the president was not genuine, then the removed government has to be again reinstated. The assembly can be dissolved only after parliamentary approval. Yeah, just now we have seen that within 2 months of proclamation, there needs to be a parliamentary approval. So Supreme Court said, do one thing, remove that government, but remain that house. Do not dissolve that house as of now. First, get parliamentary approval of that proclamation of emergency, and then remove the assembly, dissolve the assembly. The next, the majority of the government is to be checked on the floor of the house. Suppose some of the members, or some of the ministers, or some of the party members of the government resign or join opposition party or whatsoever, then means the governor should not take, or the president should not take that assumption that now this party is not having majority and remove them and impose president. No. First give them a chance to prove majority on the floor of the house, and if they fails to prove majority, if they fails to prove majority, then only remove them and then only impose president rule in the state. And lastly, it must be used rarely. Then, along with this, the court also gives some cases of proper and improper use of Article 356. Now, what can be the proper use? Firstly, in case of hung assembly in the state, general elections were there to state legislative assembly. None of the party or none of the coalition is having enough numbers to form the government. Now, what to do? Now, in such a case, there is no other option than to impose president's rule. Then, secondly, where the majority, the party or the coalition having majority of the seats, they are not ready to form the government, and the opposition is a minority, then who will form the government? Simply no other option, impose president rule, go for another election. When the government is defeated, vote of no confidence is passed against the government, and no other option is there because two party, not three or more than three party rule is there. Then again, they impose president rule under 365. When it is assured to the president that the government is not working in accordance with constitution, then also you can you can do means you can impose it. Means the government is not listening to the direction given by the center whatsoever. Or when the state government is working against the constitution and the people are revolting against that government, impose president rule. Or when the state government is involved in such type of action which is imposing a danger to the security of India. Then also that government needs to be removed and impose precedents. Now, what can be improper cases after general election, as was done by Morarji Desai and Indira Gandhi? Means election to Lok Sabha is something different. Election to Vidhan Sabha is something different. Delhi is a very good example. There are 7 seats in Lok Sabha from Delhi, and in 2019 election, all the 7 seats have gone to BJP. But when it comes to Vidhan Sabha election, then people voted for Arvind Kejriwal, Aam Aadmi Party. Why? Because the agendas are different. Vidhan Sabha election agenda is different, points are different, and the topics are different. In Lok Sabha, they are different. That is a local perspective, that is a national perspective. So, if people are not supporting a party in Lok Sabha election, that do not necessarily means that people are not supporting that party in Vidhan Sabha also. So, both are two different things. This should not be done. Then, when government is defeated on the floor, but other options are not explored, like one party's government is defeated, but the governor must wait for other parties also. Let them enter into a coalition. Give them a chance to form the government. Similarly, when internal disturbance is there in the state, but it do not amounts to physical breakdown or means the government is simply not able to work. Means the scope is not that much broad. Maladministration or corruption charges against the ministers are there, but for that court is there. Why to remove that government? Remove those ministers. Or when the state government is not given warning, suppose center is given direction, state is not listening to that government to those direction, then what the center must do? Center must first give them what? That warning. And if again and again the state government is not following that warning, then what you have to do? You have to impose precedent. Okay, so these are the cases. Then third type and the last type of emergency which the constitution talks about is financial emergency. Again, it can be proclaimed by president under Article 360. It says that if the president is satisfied that a situation have arisen where the credibility or financial stability of India means you have to pay your loan, but you are not having that much money to pay your loan, then he can proclaim financial emergency. Or during COVID, it was an ideal case for financial emergency where government was not having enough money because productivity was not there. Financial emergency once proclaimed ceased to have effect at the expiration of 2 months. Remember, in all three type of emergency, the period was 2 months, but by 44th Amendment, it was reduced to 1 month in case of national emergency. Rest two places, it is still 2 months unless it is approved by a vote of two houses by a vote of simple majority. Once approved, it can continue indefinitely. No need for approving the continuance of financial emergency. Remember that thing. Then again, if at the time of proclamation or during 2 months following it, Lok Sabha is dissolved, then again get it approved by the Rajya Sabha and by the new Lok Sabha within first 30 days of its first sitting. Up till now, it has never been imposed. Now, what will be the effects? Firstly, the center can give direction to the states about financial propriety or about simply about how to save money or how to use your finances, how to use your expenditure, how to limit your expenditure. Then the center can direct the states to reduce the salaries of any person who is working or serving in the state, all the employees. Thirdly, the president can ask the states to reserve all the money and financial bill for the consideration of the president. That means that when such bills are passed by the states, they will not signed by the government, but they would be signed by the president, who can either sign him or can reject him. Then finally, to reduce the salary and allowances of all the persons serving in the union, including the salaries of judges of Supreme Court and High Court. Now, these two words, judges of Supreme Court and High Court, they are specially mentioned so that that excuse or that logic cannot work that it is going against the independence of judiciary. So it is written there that their salaries can also be reduced and it would not amount to is interfering with the independence of judiciary. Right? So this was all about this national emergency. I have deal with it quite fast because we have to. I want to finish the complete topic in 1 hour. Okay, these slides, these PPTs in PDF format, they would be shared on the Unacademy platforms, and I think as far as your prelims is concerned, these are sufficient. You know, whatever question is coming in prelims, you would be able to solve that question by going through this PPT only. Just go through them 2 3 times because many of them are factual things and you will be able to remember. Chaliye. Thank you very much. Thank you for being with me. I am ending this class as of now. चलिए, thank you.